presence.
Well, those guys just showed up. They weren't here when we pulled up, and now they're on the move, so, you know, I'm gonna head on to the next base. Yeah, I'm out of here.
It took a while. But finally, someone came out, the spokeswoman. What is this place?
This is the T. Don Hutto Residential Center.
Residential center?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. It looks like a prison. I mean, I've never seen a residential center that has two sets of fences go around. It looks identical to a prison to me.
Well, the reason I'm here is just to see what I can do for you today, and
well, you can answer my questions. Why does it look like a prison if it's and I've never come to a residential center that has its front doors locked and you can't walk in and talk to a receptionist.
Well, the reason for that is to protect the privacy of the residents inside.
And why do they need protection?
Well, I tell you what I can do for you, sir. I'm more than happy to forward all your questions to our folks at ICE. They'd be more than happy to talk.
And ICE is?
And your
who
Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Ah, okay.
And that's under Homeland Security?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Daniel followed the trail into the night, into the port of Los Angeles. William Lewis led him to another camp on Terminal Island, isolated, just like Alcatraz, with more barbed wire facing in. In Texas, I was getting tag-teamed by spokespeople. Just so I have it on the record, for a residential place, I've never seen one with a locked front door and double fences. It looks to me, it looks very much like a prison.
Well, we're charged with their safety as well, so.
Who's after them?
I'm sorry?
Who would be after them? That you'd need double fences and this type of security. You got Al Capone in there? Daniel could see the evidence, but before he got any closer, the police moved in, and the cops weren't happy to see Daniel.
What is that I'm looking at right there?
We can't give that information.
You know, some people don't like this. We're trying to find out who are you, what are you doing here, why are you here?
It's not good.
All of what we learned made it obvious. What we'd thought was a police-state conspiracy is a concentration camp conspiracy, and everything is documented. I thought I'd seen enough, but Alex Jones wanted me to visit one more location.
Governor, there's just a little town up the road from here.
Madison, Georgia, on the side of Interstate 20, near train tracks, close to an airport. Perfect for smuggling in people like you and me under the cover of darkness. But this place didn't need any barbed wire to keep people from getting out. What in the hell is this?
It's hundreds of thousands plastic coffins.
So each one of those is a separate coffin stacked on top. There's probably, what, 20 to 25 per stack. And how many stacks? Literally hundreds of them.
And you can fit 4 dead bodies per plastic coffin. It's basically a giant body bag.
Tens of thousands of coffins. Officially, they're plastic grave liners. 7 feet long, 3 feet deep, with lids. The company that makes them says they're just being stored for people's pre-needs. Well, who in the hell has a pre-need for this many coffins? Unless they're planning a massacre. If they had to get rid of people or dissidents or whatever, they certainly got the caskets for it, don't they? What would their argument be, though? The place that makes these boxes used to be a research and development arm of Hercules Incorporated. Hercules is a major defense contractor with ties to Halliburton. The feds gave $385 million to a Halliburton subsidiary to build the detention centers. It seems everything that I'm investigating, the trail seems to lead to Halliburton all the time.
Exactly, Governor. The admitted Homeland Security contracts with those camp centers, I mean, that's even admitted in mainstream news. It's Halliburton. It always goes back to Halliburton.
But it doesn't end there. These detention centers and camps are run by FEMA, the federal agency that's supposed to help us in crisis is ready to round us up. FEMA already has the country divided into 10 regions, and they match almost perfectly with the Council of Governors' 10 sectors. And so these are sitting here waiting for the implement of martial law, possibly.
And remember, this is right outside Atlanta, Georgia, where the Centers for Disease Control is based.
Alex Jones was about to fit the last piece of this puzzle, how the concentration camp plan would be put into action.
I'm going to give you some of these secret government documents that we've gotten from where they admit that they've got stockpiled for the biological pandemic. This is the perfect pretext to bring in martial law using the fear generated by a pandemic.
They'd start a pandemic as an excuse to put away anybody who gets in the way of their power grab. The feds would trigger a nationwide outbreak of deadly disease. The bodies would pile up, the military would pile in, and the concentration camp gates would open.
We have government documents where the CDC is preparing for mass pandemics, hundreds of thousands or even millions dead. There's this massive preparation going on for plagues and literal megadeath.
Megadeath. Well, that's one way to put it. It makes you wonder about all the flus that spread like wildfire, how quickly they kill, all the outbreaks and vaccinations, and how simple it would be for the elites to put the plan into action. And we may have arrived just in time to expose the evidence. In the hours after we left, workers began hustling to get the coffins out of there. It was time to meet the ones who are making all this possible.
Coming up, Jesse Ventura gets the runaround from congressmen too afraid to tell the truth about FEMA prison camps.
Actually just left to go back to the district.
Oh, he did.
And then, a congressman behind the law to build prison camps plays dumb.
Why is it in that bill?
What is exactly in the bill?
Next Friday, the JFK assassination.
Think it's history? Think again.
I have some very classified papers here.
They're still hiding secrets, and I'm about to bust them wide open. Nobody really thinks of George H.W. Bush being part of the JFK assassination.
And finally, the confession no one saw coming.
He confessed that he participated in the murder of John Kennedy to you?
That's exactly true.
Conspiracy Theory, all new, next Friday at 10 on TruTV.
Jesse Ventura has found evidence of a government plan to use a disease outbreak and martial law to clear the way for concentration camps, ready to take in American citizens who don't toe the line.
Come on!
Residential center.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
It looks like a prison.
Now, after stopping in at a storage yard filled with thousands of coffins, the governor has arrived in Washington.
Now I've seen enough evidence. I want to know why our congressmen think we need prison camps for ordinary citizens. They put it right in a congressional bill, H.R. 645. I went to Washington to find some of the congressmen who co-sponsored the bill. And what happened gives a pretty good idea of how our nation has slid down the slippery slope to a possible police state. First, there was Congressman and co-sponsor Jim Gerlach of Pennsylvania. When I arrived at his office on Capitol Hill, his chief of staff said the congressman would be glad to see me. Until he found out what I wanted to talk about, these FEMA camps. Then Gerlach ran away.
He literally just stepped out of the office as you walked in.
On 2 separate occasions.
Actually just left to go back to the district.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
How convenient. He says he's all excited to talk to me all morning, and then we go in there and he heads home right after he finishes a vote. Yeah, right. Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee agreed to talk about the bill. Remember, he's a co-sponsor. I'm here to talk to you about these FEMA camps. I'm very disturbed about them. Why would we be building these things all over the country? For what purpose?
Well, we wouldn't, because they don't exist. It's just a figment of some people who have concerns about maybe Martians or other creatures coming to infiltrate our society, thinking that there are such camps. But
So
there are
none
no
of these,
such
there are
camps.
no such. So why was it put into that bill? It's in a bill. So it's put into the bill. It doesn't exist. There are no FEMA camps anywhere in America.
No, there aren't.
What was the place I saw in Texas?
I don't know what
It was called a residence. It had two 20-foot-high fences around it. When I knocked on the door, it was locked. When the people came to the door, no comment was the answer I got on any question. And what disturbed me the most about this place was in the back, it was like a daycare. There's slides and swings for children. And I said, do you keep children inside this place? No comment. Have you ever kept children in this place? No comment.
I haven't been there, so I have no idea. Maybe
right.
they're immature people.
So you're telling me there isn't one FEMA camp of these in the United States right now?
There are not.
Why is it in that bill?
What is exactly in the bill? And
It
what bill
talks
do you refer
about
to?
building FEMA camps, doesn't it? That particular bill that we're talking about?
I would have to, I'd like to see the bill.
Isn't this guy a co-sponsor of the bill? What's the bill number? 6 FEMA camps to be built within the United States. How can a bill state that there'll be 6 FEMA camps built in the United States, and then I'm being told there are none?
Well, I think I recall now something about this, and if I'm correct, I think those are locations for if there's a disaster like in Katrina. I think that's what it is. It's not any kind of a concentration camp or anything to round up citizens.
He thinks that's what it is? The bill that he co-sponsored says the use of the camps will be determined by the Secretary of Homeland Security. They can come and go as they please.
Exactly.
They won't be locked.
No.
They can go in and out, because the place I saw in Texas is locked. You can't go in and out of it. No comment. And
Well, it's probably not being used either for a couple of years.
We have films of children playing on the swings and the slides and stuff, and this one technically falls under Homeland Security.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been there, and I don't know who the children are, and the children are probably very happy.
Where have we heard that before?
They're probably children of the people that manage the place, I imagine. But they're not people that have been taken there, by some green monsters in a machine. And
I have fear of my government, not green monsters and machines from outer space. I have enough fear from here. You can see how things work in Washington. Congressmen sponsor bills because they're told to, or because it means money for their district. Back at Jim Gerlich's office, his chief of staff admitted as much.
I've seen some things on the internet, and I know he talked to some folks back in the district that led him to co-sponsor it. In light of some of the new information out, he may want to reconsider that, of course.
Second thoughts about putting his name on a bill he probably didn't even read. If enough of us speak out, maybe next time we can talk some sense into our leaders before they sign on the dotted line.
Stop!
They said it couldn't happen here, but it already is happening. And we've already allowed our elected officials to break all kinds of laws designed to protect you and me. You thought we had 50 states? Nope. We've learned there's 10 sectors ruled by 10 people you didn't vote for. You support your local police? That's nothing, not when they've got the military ready to take over. You signed a petition outside the supermarket? Who knows what list you're on now? And what about all these detention centers? Why do you think the standard answer is no comment? And here's what's worse. They're doing it all in the name of national security. Talk about the fear factor. I've said it before and I'll say it now. I'd rather face the dangers than lose my freedom. I'm Jesse Ventura, and this is Conspiracy Theory.